comment is, anyone with common sense can listen to you and hear the bullshit.
Common sense is not that common, and so I get the feeling, but I will say, I love you, my tiki-takis. Some of your comments are the absolute worst on the internet.
Bro talking to himself.
Yes, I sit in a corner all by myself. I actually live in my mom's basement. You caught me. I don't own a business. I don't have friends. I don't have a wife and beautiful children and these amazing dogs. I'm actually just no one on the internet. Maybe you can look me up someday. Hold on, where'd that come from specifically?
Also TikTok, and when you said, you responded with, I'm not in the studio with my co-host at YouTube OG recording a weekly podcast, and he replied with, sure you are.
I thought my response was appropriate there. I said, hey, I'm not in the studio recording a podcast with a freaking YouTube OG. And he replies and goes, sure you are. I get it. You don't have to believe me. It's totally cool. It's the beauty of the internet. There's this thing. It's called Google. You can Google it.
Another TikTok comment, we had a guy say, if you're against something, I'm for it.
I actually think this is really true about the internet. The internet has this weird polarizing ability where someone's taking a snippet of your life. They're watching a short, they're reading one sentence, and they're making a judgment. And so this person says, bro, if you're for it, I'm against it. We don't even know each other, but I understand the sentiment, because what happens is everyone gets so emotionally worked up and emotionally charged because we don't want to force ourselves to think critically, to dig into the facts. What we want to do is we want to make a snap judgment instead of asking, where's this person coming from? Why are they saying that? Is this part factual? Is this not factual? Or are they just saying something? It goes back to, one of those things that we record on about critical thinking, about first principles thinking. Always ask more questions. Stay in curiosity. To be honest, unfortunately, this is a leadership lesson in life that we should always just stay in curiosity and give the other individual the benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying ever give me the benefit of the doubt. Always question what I say, but try to give others the benefit of the doubt. Some comments get really aggressive. I'll be honest. I'm learning not to take them personally. I say a special thank you to my YouTube OGs, Benji Travis, Sean Cannell. I'll be honest, I had to call them in regards to some of these comments when I first started recording a bunch of content and be like, bro, what do you do? And they're like, don't respond, ignore them, move on. Because people will even say like violent things to you. They said, hey, Anton on the curb, or Anton bite the curb challenge. In other words, they want to curb stomp you. I don't know what I said that would incite that level of rage or violence, but it also goes to show that we need to have this level of care for people on the internet. We need to have a little bit of candor. In other words, I'm empathetic, but I'm not sympathetic to your situation. I want to have empathy and grace because you don't know what someone else is going through. And if they're making a comment like that, something else in their life is not in alignment. Don't take it personally. And guess what? We're just going to have a lot of fun with all this stuff. Let's not take ourselves too seriously.
There was a comment here, tips to avoid property tax increase. Somebody commented, thanks, Captain Obvious. It found funny because I don't think that anything in that video was obvious.
This comment was thanks, Captain Obvious, and it was about property taxes. I'll tell you, property taxes is this weird esoteric part of real estate. Either the commenter was beyond brilliant or they had absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Now, it's not my job to pass judgment on them. What I will tell you is the average person does not understand how property taxes are calculated. And our goal with the channel, with the content we put out, is so that the average person can understand real estate, business, finance, and grow their wealth, grow their knowledge, grow their understanding of what's happening. That's our goal with creating content. I'm doing this for fun because I like it. I like telling stories. I like educating people. I like connecting. And I get it. Maybe some of the messages we put out, they're below the level of the audience, but we're also trying to help the masses. And so anytime we do that and it doesn't fully resonate with you, ask me more questions and I'll go to the next level for you. But you got to also give me some constructive criticism on what you think that you need so that we can do that together. I found most of the comments on this video unbelievably interesting. The gist of it was, I said, when you're buying a property and it's like your first property, you're going to have to stretch to get into it. And so my recommendation was buy as much as humanly possible, because you're going to stretch to get into it. And then 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, you're going to look back and you're going to say, man, that was one of the best financial decisions. Unfortunately, we've raised a generation of people who they're not going to be as tough-minded. They're going to look for excuses. They're going to look for ways to say, this advice doesn't apply to me, and that's okay. A bunch of comments were, this is a salesman tactic to get you to buy what you can't afford. This is horrible advice. You should never buy what you can't afford, blah, blah, blah. I think people are looking for reasons and excuses to say no to their dreams. They're looking for someone to say, it's okay, you didn't hit the goal. I don't believe that way. I believe you should struggle. I believe you should push to the next level. I should believe you should freaking stretch to the ultimate limit when we're talking about your goals and your growth. Now, I did say you shouldn't go beyond what you can afford, but like the internet, most people, what they do is they pick out one part. They're emotionally triggered, then they become the keyboard warrior. So I get it. And also, this advice doesn't apply to everyone. I will tell you, though, the person who told me this is literally worth almost 9 digits. So it was advice from someone who's worth almost 100 million. They might know a thing or two. Also, when I look back at my own personal life, I bought my first home when I was in my early 20s. I literally couldn't afford it. I was a bajillion dollars in credit card debt. I was a waiter. I bought 2x what I could afford. And guess what happened? Nothing. I figured it out. I paid my debt off, and that house made me a bunch of money. I just hope other people are willing to take a risk and bet on themselves.
Connecting to that, somebody also wrote, glad I didn't listen to this guy's nonsense in my 20s. I think that's a very good headway to what you just said.
Yeah.
Okay, we also have a comment that says, this guy making modern day slavery sound not so bad.
What video was that on?
Video about buying a house and, investing in, real estate and stuff like that. It's all of the terrible advice things, like don't buy if you can't afford it. That on that video, the guy said, this guy making modern day slavery sound not so bad.
Yeah. In another video, we were talking about how homes are super expensive, how you're going to have to really go in, especially in areas like ours in the Seattle Metro. You're going to have to go in deep on the debt. You're going to have to go in big on the payment. And the comment, it kind of hits me a little bit deep. The gentleman said, you're making modern day slavery sound not so bad. And this is one of the things where he's right and he's wrong all at the same time. He's right where the consumerism here in the United States has gotten so bad that we are slaves to the debt, slaves to keeping up with the Joneses, slaves to this appearance of having money, of being successful. It hurts me a little bit inside. Who cares what the Joneses are doing? You be you. Who cares what other people think? They won't care about it in the next 5 to 10 minutes anyway. You do what's right for you. You do what's right for your family, what's right for your goals. But we also got to get away from this materialism, this massive attachment to debt and keeping up with the Joneses. It's just a spiral into the abyss.
Okay, we have a comment. A guy who sells houses wants you to buy a house.
absolutely want you to buy a house. If you go back and look at wealth building, people who own real estate, who buy their home, what it does is somehow psychologically it creates a stability factor. It anchors them to the community. They start maturing. They start growing up. They start saving their money. So they start allocating their resources towards their advancement. And if you don't buy a home and you are just a renter, all you have to do is Google this. Go look. What is the net worth of a renter versus a homeowner? And you will see there is, and I forget the number off the top of my head. I want to say it's like a 10x difference. So yes, I want you to buy a home. And yes, I sell homes. I will tell you though, the primary vehicle that makes me the most money is real estate investing and land development. It's not home sales. Home sales is just one of the engines that helps power our machine. But investing for the long term and creating housing and creating opportunities is actually what makes us the most money. And how that really happens is through amazing people. And that's amazing people that work with us. That's amazing people that know us. And that's amazing people that know that we buy properties. So I'd almost say more than the investing, more than the land development, it's people. Those people are more important. So yes, go buy a home, but build amazing relationships with amazing people because that's going to take you even further than that.